This is The Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I think I'm looping through the last year of new movies. Doggone is a new family comedy drama from director Stephen Herek, following the true life story of college graduate Fielding and his dog, Gonker. Returning home from college, the two have a bit of a struggle meshing with Fielding's parents, Gonker because of his wilder nature, and Fielding because of his seeming lack of career aspirations. Gonker at least manages to settle in well, so when he disappears after running off into the Appalachian Trail and its thousands of miles of ground to cover, it becomes a race to find him before he needs to take some life-saving medication. Fielding and his father go off to search for him, not only becoming viral sensations along the way, but also reconnecting and finding common ground, or something to that effect. It's not really developed all that well. I mean, that central conflict is there, but it tends to come and go at times. Sometimes they get along, other times they're at odds, and between these moments they're on the road looking for Gonker or talking to others looking out for him, with little to no animosity at all. It's also probably worth noting that this isn't even the only through line within the film, though it may be the only one with any significant weight. Other development for characters is relatively empty, even within this narrative range of emotionally traumatic to life-threatening, and on that note I want to add that element doesn't even feel all that naturally integrated. There is foreshadowing and explicit indication of something going on underneath the surface, but it comes through more like filler, as if the basic story wasn't enough and they wanted to give the audience more than a standard generational divide. In a similar vein, the whole story almost feels at times as if it's trying too hard to be something deeper, or more highbrow than a movie about a search and rescue mission for a dog would normally be. Like it falls into the same sorts of plot formulas and conventions you'd expect from a family film like this, but then it tries to bring itself up by having these twists, which I can say are at least written into the story well enough, but still aren't very integral. You could probably say the same about the entire first act of the film, which is pretty much nothing but setting up the characters and what brings everybody together, and could have really been cut down or paced out better, but that's just my opinion. On the subject of the film's technical elements, though, this idea of trying harder than necessary is especially apparent. It's mostly in the actual visuals of the film that this is clear, looking like something with a reasonable budget, compared to, let's say, a direct-to-video movie from the mid-2000s. There are even a number of outdoor location shoots on the Appalachian Trail itself, I think, but that's about as good as it gets. There's your basic mix of wide shots and medium shots, and nothing ever truly expressive between. The soundtrack is also rather boring, with a bunch of licensed tracks that have more of a sound or a tone that matches whatever's going on, rather than adding anything to it through the lyrics or whatever. Editing is less polished than it is actually lazy, with scenes that tend to linger on for longer than it takes to get a point across, or are cut into the film rather redundantly. It feels like it could have all been trimmed down a lot, and the final film would have been snappier and in rhythm with the audience. Overall, I feel like all of these attempts that it makes to put itself out there as a heavier film than it actually is pretty much fall flat, and the final outcome is trying too hard to be something it isn't, nor really should have ever tried to be in the first place, even if it is accurate to real-life events. Doggone. Stephen Herek, 2023. 2 stars. I don't really recommend watching it. That's it for me. If you like this review, leave a like. If you have something to add, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Honestly, based on the poster, I thought this was gonna be a lot cheaper than it ended up becoming. It seems like it would have been anyways. I mean, I wouldn't think there was a market for a high-cost production like this.